Hey guys, this is Unpunk bringing you an Easter egg guide today. This is going to be obviously for the Shadowed Throne, the new DLC for World War II Zombies that just came out yesterday. We grinded all day to get this solved and get this recorded so that way we guys can get you a nice tutorial here. I hope this is easily explained and you guys can understand it. I did my very best to make sure I got the best clips for you guys, as well as I will do my very best to describe each step as well as I can for you guys. But if you guys do enjoy this video and it does help you out or doesn't help you out fully, definitely drop a like, as it is greatly appreciated for the effort put into making this one. It definitely was not a quick one to make. Do hang tight because this is a lengthy video and it's not going to be extremely easy of an Easter egg to do. I would say it's probably about a 7 for the average player, as there is Morse code involved in some different rhythm slash puzzle steps that are a little bit tricky to understand, and there is a safe cracking step that has been puzzling a lot of the community, which we knocked out and got a good rhythm on. So if you go out of the spawn room, you're going to notice that there's a radio right here. On top of the radio, there is going to be a different set of letters and number. So the letters and number are going to correspond to a section in the church, which I will show you in just a second. There is going to be combinations of RS, TX, LS, or ZX. There's also going to be a model number for each of them that ranges from 0 to 3. So if you look on this map here, you are going to see all these different frequencies you can put it on the radio, and you're going to see on this map that there is a location that you need to select your frequencies from. So looking on the top of your machine, you're going to need to select, in our case, was the ZX, and then 0 was the model and serial numbers. So if you guys are confused on that, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just look at the section on the map that is pinpointed, look for your model number and your serial number and find the corresponding frequencies, and then go ahead and go over to your radio and enter said frequencies in. It's pretty easy to get. If you guys are having trouble, you don't have to worry about having it spot on. If it's like a 0.5 or a 0.2, just get real close to it and it will auto adjust and find the correct frequency for you. So just get it close and you'll be able to get it. Your right and left joysticks are what's going to be able to turn this radio, but I'm assuming most of you guys will already understand how to use this radio if you're watching this guide. And I hope you have a basic understanding of the locations in this map, because it's going to make it a lot easier for you guys to understand this tutorial if you do. So as you see, you are going to get an audio quote that is going to tell you that you are talking to the Russians. So it'll pop up in just a minute saying signal the Russians or signaled the Russians on screen. It's going to be your second Easter egg step that will pop up in your notebook. A lot of these Easter egg steps, and or most of them, will not show up as icons of you being able to select items or being able to do different things along that nature. So it's going to make it very difficult to do if you guys aren't paying close attention to what you're doing. So as you saw there, we contacted the Russians. Next, what you need to do is you need to go over here on the other side. You're going to need to open this signal flares box. You can use it with a melee or a gun, and all you're going to need to do is shoot it. For some reason, my melee wasn't opening it, and you're going to shoot it or melee it, and it's going to shoot off signal flares since they fired the flares. That's going to then call in a Zeppelin. Straub's going to talk to you, and it's going to turn out to be Straub's Zeppelin that you're calling in. This is going to not be the Zeppelin from the final reg. It is going to be an upgraded version, so make sure you are ready because it is going to create some new types of zombies. What I do here is I pick up a step for a painting, which is in the apartments section, the dancer's painting, which will be used in a little bit. In that other room I just showed you, there is another location for it on the wall, so if you guys are having a hard time finding it, just check in the adjacent rooms and you'll find it pretty easily. That is the new zombie type right there, and when you melee it for the first time, you're going to get what's called a Geist Bolt. It is going to be used to make the wonder weapon, which is called the Wunderbuss. If you don't know how to do this, I have it right here where the two locations for the fuse, or the two of the locations for the fuse rather, they're in the museum. One can be there and the second one can be down here, so it was pretty easy to find. If you guys can't find them, there is plenty of in-depth tutorials on how to make this out on YouTube, so so I'm not going too much into depth on how you do this, but you're going to need to build this, which is going to be down in the sewer area underneath the apartments, right around the spawn area. If you're ever confused on your locations, as you enter and exit areas, it's going to show you what the names are. You're going to come down underneath the apartments and put a fuse in, and then pull that fuse right back out. You're then going to put it on this table for the wonder weapon and put the second part you got from the zombie, and you will get the Wunderbus. You're going to need to charge that gate to open it so that way you guys can leave and come freely, and you won't have to be trapped in here. These new zombies are a little bit pesky, so do be warned, they are a little bit annoying to get used to. As soon as you got that done, we're going to move on to the next step. So as you see here, this is in the section of the stage, or the dressing room section of the stage, on a little, I believe that is a dresser, that you are going to see a set of numbers. This is going to correspond to one of the upgrade paths to unlock a upgraded version of a melee. You're going to want to put that code in on your radio, and it is going to show a green light, and it is going to start playing Morse code for you. If you are not familiar with Morse code, this is going to be a very hard step for you, so get familiar with it as quick as you can, or try and get a friend to help you or family member that would possibly know it. As soon as it shows green like that, you're going to start hearing different noises. It's going to hear the beeping noises like you would hear right there on screen, and it is going to give you a variation of numbers. These can be anywhere between 1 and 2 digit numbers, and there's gonna always be 2 of them. So in my game I got 8 and then 1 0, which turned out to be 10. It took me quite a while to get this because I wasn't extremely great at it, but once you get it, you're gonna head on over to the church, and you're gonna enter this in on the map you see in the church that we were looking at earlier. In the top of the stage area, which we were previously in, above all the dressing rooms, there is a little magnifying glass on a desk or a chair, so look around for that if you don't see it already on your map, and you're just going to need to find the location on your map that is what you just got from Morse code. In my case, it was 8 down and 10 across, and you're just going to need to turn the little microscope to that grid point. It's pretty easy to do and not a very difficult step. Next, you're going to get that little scale, or that little bowl is what it's called, a golden bowl, which you bring into the museum here, and you're going to put it right here, and you're going to complete this second scale. Once you get that scale, or that weighted scale, done, you're going to need to wait until you get one of the new zombies, which can be got on any round that is not a pest round, unless you have some form of a jump scare zombie, which I haven't actually seen. And you're going to need to follow him into your nearest Geistcraft machine. As you see, when you melee him, his head will pop off into the Geistcraft machine, and you need to make sure it is the correct one, which is the fire head. It is pretty easy to do, as you saw I got it my first try there, and you're just going to put it right up here. It is then going to balance the scales, and you're going to be ready to move on to the next step, which is just going to be getting 10 kills, or 10 different zombie kills, can be melee or any kind, near this little section. It is going to be right near the bunny that is actually to the right hand side of that station if you're looking right at it. So I didn't show you quite the right location at first, but you were still seeing these souls fill up. As soon as you're done with that, you're going to get a new melee weapon called the Nazi Axe. Can be picked up right in that same area off the table, so it's very easy to find. If you don't see it, just start holding square and you'll pick it up. You're then going to bring that over to the church area, which is going to have a spot for 3 different upgrades. I'm going to go through all of the 3 upgrades here, so don't worry, we're going to have each and every one here. I know it shows the knife already in my inventory, but I'll show that one right after this, that way you guys are not missing a single thing. And once you get all 3, you're going to have to get a certain amount of kills with a certain amount of types of zombies to open that secret door. Next, we are going back to what the painting we got earlier in the video from the dancer's room, and we're going to go inside the theater area here, and you're going to get a little record that pops off. I couldn't see it very clear in my gameplay, but if you go around and hold square right in this section, you're definitely going to get it. It's not going to give you any audio cue or show anything on your screen, so if you don't see it, all you got to do is come up and hold square on the little projector, which is right to my left of these little stairs. Of course, all of my teammates decided to crowd me, so we got in a little bit of a pickle there for a second, so we had to clear this out. And you're just going to use your wonder weapon to activate the reel after you held square. It will apply the painting as well as the reel. This will give you a map which will show different green dots. You're going to need to pay attention to where these dots are. There's going to be 4 dots that are always going to be in the same order. What you're going to need to do is get kills by each of the dots. As you will see in each of the dot locations, there will be a little clown doll on the floor, roof, or ceiling that will be collecting the souls. As you complete each of these sections, a new green dot will pop up on your map. You will need to locate that in your game. I will not show all of the footage of each location as I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be, but you can go ahead and go around and get all 4 of those locations filled up with souls. You need to make sure, though, as you are filling up each of the 4 soul locations, you count exactly how many zombies you get at each one. If you forget or can't remember or recall exactly the exact number, just go ahead and push a round or 2 and fill all 4 of them up again to get the exact specific numbers. They will not change throughout the game. They will stay the same, and you can continue to fill these as many times as you need. This is just allowing you to get a 4-digit or 4 sets of numbers. What this is going to be is your safe code that you will be getting, and you're going to need to make sure you pay attention to those numbers very specifically. In my game, I believe I got 6845, if I do recall correctly, which I'll show you here in a second. What you need to do after you got that safe code is you're going to go into the apartments again where the dancer was and the painting was, and you're going to find a safe in her closet here. You're going to go up to it, and I'm going to explain this twice the best I can. You're going to need to turn to the right 3 times past the number you want to be on. So if your first number in this case is 6, you're going to turn 3 times past 6, and on your 4th rotation, stop on 6. You're then going to turn left 2 times past your number and stop on your next number at its 3rd spin, which in our case was 8. After that, you're going to turn the opposite direction to the right again, pass your number once, and stop at it when you hit the 2nd time of it. Then next, you're going to go directly to your last number, which was 4 in our case, and then let go and press circle, and you are going to get the safe to open. I'm going to explain this one last time so that way you guys don't have any confusion. So when you go in this room and activate the safe, you're going to be turning 4 times to the right, stopping at the number that is your first number at your 4th rotation to the right, which in our case was 6 in this game. Then you're going to be turning to the left past your number 2 times and stopping when you get to it a 3rd time. After that, you're going to turn the opposite way to the right again, pass your number 1 time and stop at the 2nd rotation to it, and then right back the other direction to the left and stop at it when you get to the 1st time seeing your last number, in our case 4. You're then going to press circle in your controller. It's going to pull you back, and it's going to open the safe after just a minute. You're going to get this new Dancer's Dagger melee weapon. This is an amazing weapon, so I highly recommend using this for the earlier parts of the Easter egg. Not for the boss fight, but definitely for the earlier parts of the Easter egg. It is really, really useful. You're going to see these 4 things that have fallen out of the Zeppelin around the map. 3 are accessible at this point, and you're just going to need to go around to these 3 different ones that are accessible now and charge them with your Wonder Weapon. If you don't have enough ammo, use your Free Fire or use a specialist ability or use your friends as well to charge this up, and they are going to turn yellow when you have successfully done them. There is one in spawn that will always be above the Pack-a-Punch machine. The second one will always be in the roof of the museum area, and the 3rd one is always going to be out in the courtyard here section by the church and between the museum, theater, and church, right smack dab in the middle. It is a pretty easy location to see and fill. Sometimes I was collecting souls here and it was doing the same effect as getting charged with the weapon, but nonetheless, that's how you're going to charge those 3 up. And the 4th one we'll get into a little later as soon as the path is open for that. Next, what you're going to want to do is bring your Wonder Weapon down into that room, and you're going to want to shoot this little cash register and look for the code on the picture underneath. This code is going to change per game, and it's always going to be a 2-digit code. What this is going to give you is a frequency you're going to enter on the radio. Once again, there is a lot of frequencies you do enter, and in my case it was 2410, so I just turn it to the correct frequency. It doesn't light up green immediately, but when I back out here and kill a zombie, you get a little picture that pops up and says contacted the smuggler. This is going to tell you that there is a smuggler stuck in the sewers. He's gonna say he can see a little light and he's gonna need some help. So you're gonna go behind the theater area by the church, and you're going to see this bronze plate here. You're gonna shoot it, throw a grenade, whatever you want at it, and it's gonna open. You're gonna need to give it a certain type of weapon. It's gonna vary per game. It could be a pistol, sniper, shotgun, LMG, or an assault rifle or SMG. In my game, I believe it was an SMG my fellow partner gave to me, so it was really cool that he got that done and knocked it out real quick for me. And that's gonna be Army the Smuggler. If you got it in correct type, he's just gonna say I do not have the correct ammunition, and you're just going to need to try a different variation of a weapon. Don't try multiple SMGs if it's not working, because that's not going to be the type. It could be one of the 6 types of weapons. Next, there's going to be one here right by the radio area and right outside the spawn and by the theater entrance that you're going to need to wait 2 full rounds before it will open after you have done the previous step, and you're going to need to insert 2,500 points, I believe is the exact amount, into the hole once it does open. You're going to shoot it the same way as you did for the last one. Once that's done, you're going to get the you paid the smuggler, and you're going to need to grab that melee weapon right near there and come back into this room here, and you're gonna need to melee this door. I didn't understand why it didn't work immediately the first time, but after a couple swings, the door broke open and a Westling came out, which you're just gonna want to kill. You don't need him. This is going to get you your second upgraded weapon, the new bat. The Smuggler's Bat has an awesome ranged attack and is a very fun weapon to use. I like it a lot. After you're done with that, you're gonna move on to getting the last, well actually that was the third of weapons, I believe. I definitely messed that up a little bit there, so I apologize about that. It's been a long time since I've gotten sleep, so I apologize that this little bit is not perfectly scripted. But nonetheless, once you have all 3 weapons, you're just going to place them in this section here right by the church. What you're going to need to do is kill a variety of different enemies. You're going to first start out with 20 normal zombies, then 10 cooked, or the new zombies, the Shrieker fire zombies, and then 10 pests. You can't do any other type until you've completed each of the previous ones. So again, 20 normal zombies, 10 of the cooked ones, and then 10 of the pests. It's not extremely hard to do. I did it here pretty quickly in my game. I was just using the melee knife, as it is a very, very nice weapon. And this will open a secret courtyard. Be careful to not stand too close to those doors, as when they open, they can sometimes trap you behind, and you will have to kill yourself and bleed out completely to get away from it, as it is a bug right now that Sledgehammer is going to have to work on fixing soon here in the future. Happened to us our first time getting it open. After that, I recommend getting to last zombie and having all of your players except for one come into this room. When you activate this 4th little part that comes, or this pod that comes out of the Zeppelin, it's going to say you have lowered the drop pod, which will be in spawn and be used to get to the boss fight arena in just a little bit. What's going to happen now, though, the reason you want to have one player outside is so that they can hold the zombie and train the zombie around while you do this next step, because it will lock you in this room. This next step is very, very difficult to understand at first, but once you get the concept down, it's pretty simple. So there's going to be on each wall a set of different statues. On the first wall, 3. On the remaining 3 walls, there will be 4 statues on each. Each of the first statues are going to respond to shooting with a weapon, melee, or using your wonder weapon to shoot it, and it's going to move the corresponding statue. You're going to want to get them all facing towards you. The ones on the right are going to turn the ones on the right as well as the one in the middle. The one on the left is going to turn the one on the left and the middle, and the one in the middle will turn all 3 one time. So you have 4 rotations of each, and you have to just mess with these until you understand the pattern for each one to, in this case, turn all 3 to their back, and then I turned them twice around, and I got them to all face forward. It will take a couple of tries to get this, and there is a gun in here you can buy, so definitely make sure you have a few thousand points so you can keep buying ammo as you do some trial and error. I would do this in the higher rounds, like 10 and up, so you have points. You're going to get this Raven that's going to pop up, and you're going to just need to put it in this order you're going to see here. I will go into depth and show you exactly where all four go in just a minute, but I want to explain the next ones here. So as you get into the second, third, and fourth walls, you're going to have various types of different statues. So you're going to have one statue like you see here that as you shoot it, it turns 2 rotations at once. It's going to have the same effects of changing either side and the middle one as well that you were shooting at the same time, but every time that middle one or the one with the 2 or the hammer in his hand will turn twice. So you're going to have to mess with this until you understand the concept. The second one will have 2 different hammer ones that rotate twice at once. The third one will have 1 hammer that rotates twice and 1 angel that rotates 3 times. So just practice this, get it down, work with your team to find the correct order to solve this little puzzle. It didn't take extremely long for my game to get, and you'll have this done in no time. As soon as you're done, you're going to place the 4 ravens that you will be collecting from each wall in this order. So you will have 1 raven with its mouth open on the right hand side of the statue in the front. The other 2 ravens, one with the crooked head and one pointing, will like that, and the first one I showed you on the back side. They will glow green if they are in the correct locations, and this will unlock you the Blade of Barbarossa, a new wonder weapon, a new melee wonder weapon that takes your melee spot. If you guys fail that and get it incorrect, the different ravens will scatter right in front of that statue, and you will need to pick them up and redo it till you get it. After that, you come back to the spawn section where the radio is, and there's this pod here. You need to get all your players in here and shoot your wonder weapon onto the top and just keep shooting it. You're going to need to have 100 on each of your players' wonder weapons so you can get all the way into the Zeppelin above you, which will give you one of your last items in your notebook. This is where things get a little bit hectic. The wonder weapon will be there, as well as an MP40 and one other wall weapon, which I can't remember at the top of my head. But make sure that you guys pack a punch your MP40s before you come into the boss fight, as it's going to be very crucial to have it so you do not run out of ammo. As you see on screen, there is going to be a variety of terminals that you're going to need to move a light across the green wires. Each terminal has a certain amount of green wires it can move the light from, and you're going to want to follow the path you see and go up first and go around. It's going to take a little bit, so make sure you have your teammates protecting you, unlike in my game where they were just letting me get smacked. I would recommend holding last in this boss fight if possible, as it will progress rounds and be getting a lot more difficult as you go through, but you can do your best, as it's not an easy boss fight to do. As you go through this, you're going to get these moved, and you're going to have to move them one way, and then you're going to have to move them back and go to the other side, and you're going to have a lot of variation here that you'll see over the next 15 to 20 seconds of how you move this all around. There is going to be a secret little cutscene, kind of in-game cutscene you're going to get, which I'm not going to spoil for anyone that hasn't beaten the map yet or hasn't seen it, so I'm not going to spoil that for you guys. But if you guys, when you guys get there, definitely get excited, because it is a really cool little cutscene, little clip that you're going to see. Once you get through all of these, you'll get that little clip, little cutscene, and then you'll be on to the boss fight itself. The boss is very difficult. I recommend, again, having the pack-a-punched MP40s and your wonder weapons, so that way you guys can fight the boss and do a lot of damage to him. As far as I can tell, he is just a sponge that just requires a hell of a lot of damage. I did move the little light back, which you can see underneath you, it lights up as you move it, so I moved it back close to where you will be fighting the boss more often in the first sections up here, as it makes it a little bit easier to damage him from what I can tell. I basically just kept hammering him in my games that I got. Didn't end up getting the win in this game, but in the game I did earlier on stream where we did it with no pack-punched weapons because our machine glitched out. We ended up getting it, so if you guys need to see the gameplay and how we did it, it took us quite a little bit of time, but we got it. He's gonna glow a different color orange on his front and back every period of time. I believe he has to take a certain amount of damage to do it, so the bacon and eggs are pretty good, but unless you have a lot of ammo, max ammos, and free fires ready, it's going to not do that much more, and the MP40 is going to be a better investment because you can buy ammo for it. I highly recommend bringing in the sword as your melee weapon, as it will come in very, very handy to hold off and fight these zombies, as well as take down the wustlings. But once again, if you can try to avoid skipping rounds, it's going to make your life a little easier, but at the same time, it's still going to be real difficult. This guy, again, is just a huge bullet sponge. From what I can tell, I will give you more information on how to beat this boss fight easier, what strategies, what classes and such as I experience it more, but as of now, I've only attempted it twice successfully. I can't speak today. Beaten him once. But this is going to be my Easter egg tutorial. If you guys did enjoy, please subscribe for more daily Fortnite and Call of Duty content. Drop a like because it is super appreciated for all the hard work we put into making this guide for you guys. And we're going to see you on a video real soon.